Hi, so welcome back to the Live More with Ray show, and I'm really excited to be here. It's been a while, but we're glad to be with you again. So remember, for the last show we were talking about the life components and the aspects of life, but today I'm so blessed to have a guest with me. So we're going to talk a little bit about personal development and how important it is for you to know the best you, the authentic you, the person that gets things done on time, on target, that kind of thing, striving to be your best. And a lot of times people don't live like that. So the purpose of the show today is to talk to a young man that has really found purpose in life, and he's living purposeful. He's living more, and all his fears are gone, right? All of his fears are gone. So today I'd like to introduce to you Raouf Clark, who has his company, and the name of the company is the founder of the company called S.P.R.E.A.D.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, TV land, this is Raouf. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So this is your first time on a set, so
Yes.
I know it could be a little shaky,
Yeah.
but we're going to talk a little bit about how you got to start living on purpose, how you got to the point where you are in your life,
Yes.
how you began your company. So just begin to tell us a little bit about your background. You don't have to tell us you were born in a hospital or in a cab or anything like that. Just start from high school. Where'd you go to high school?
Well, I attended Rutherford High School.
Okay.
It was a great experience.
Okay.
Very diverse school. Learned to, adapt and really, meet and work with a bunch of different types of people.
Okay.
After that, I continued my education to Bergen Community College in Paramus, New Jersey.
So that's where you're attending now.
Yeah.
So a shout out to Bergen Community College, right?
That's where I'm currently.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
But a little bit, about myself. I'm originally from Newark.
Okay.
I've been bouncing around from different places here and there. I've never been like stagnant, stayed in one location for a certain time frame. But a little bit about my company. I actually, November of 2012, I got robbed at gunpoint.
Oh wow.
And when I got robbed, it made me take a step back from sort of my reality and what society has become. And I started to develop my own, personal philosophy that, okay, if I want to see a change, why not be the change I want to see, essentially.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, the best way to sort of relate to my generation, to hit the youth, is through cool clothing. I would see swag on kids' t-shirts.
The big SWSJ.
Swag on people's t-shirts, marijuana socks.
Right.
And I was thinking, why not create something that was cool, that was hip, but that also stood for something that was positive and something that was bigger than the clothing. Okay. And I've created my company, S.P.R.E.A.D, which is actually an acronym. Okay,
so it's S.P.R.E.A.D. It's S.P.R.E.A.D.
Okay. But it stands for Spreading Peace, Reaching Excellence and Diversity.
Okay, so spreading peace, reaching for
excellence and diversity.
Okay, great.
So
how has that? So wait, let's just go back, because you jumped over this whole I almost got robbed piece, and that's something that our young people are faced with, regardless of where we live. A lot of times people are faced with adversity. So let's say that was the point in your life. After that tragic thing happened, what was it that you did or thought of that triggered something in you to change? Like, which way were you going before then?
Well, to be honest with you, Ray, I was on a long dead-end road.
You were on a long dead-end road. Okay, all right.
Me personally, I had sort of no sense of direction.
Okay.
Not that I was on any type of bad path, but it's just I had no sense of direction. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't actually know how I wanted to go about it. I had no plan.
Okay.
And I think that's actually very common for someone who just graduated high school to, sort of not have no sense of direction or plan of where he wants to go in life.
Well, would you say, because I know there's some listeners and our audience is very diverse. So someone may hear, I didn't have a plan. But let's say a majority of young people, regardless of the culture, it's not like something drops in and says, hello, this is me. It's how do you find that plan and how do you find that purpose? So you were grappling, you were looking. You were looking for something, okay?
Well, you know, that robbery ignited it, but, you know, keeping good faith, you know, in God and you know, just being very self-aware, and I would say that robbery did ignite, you know, okay, I want to make a change.
Right. So a lot of times people don't connect until later on in life. You know, they work a job and they don't do a career.
Yes.
You know, and they're doing something pretty much what they hate. You know, a lot of times, and they don't know how to stop it. You know, and then something happens in their life, and then they begin to create something that they've always wanted to live.
Wake-up call.
So the robbery happened. I'm glad nothing happened to you. You look safe. Now, how old were you? Were you in high school? Were you not in high school?
I just graduated. I was 19 years old. 19,
okay. So you look all of 15 right now. So you look really good. I mean, I was saying you look very well. So how old are you now?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay, so you were 19 when this happened?
Yes.
Okay, so this was almost a year ago, or a year ago?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so a year ago, wow. So go ahead, tell us a little bit more. So you just went home and said, you know what, I'm going to do S.P.R.E.A.D.
No, I actually told my mother, I said, she asked me, what do you want to do? You know, what do you want to, you're going to college, but what do you want to do? And you know, 2012 in general was a rough year for me. You know, the passing of like my grandmother.
Okay. And
then a month later, me getting robbed.
Right.
So
stuff was just starting to happen.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's someone out there that stuff is happening to right now, and it just seems like you can't stop it. You know, but it's going to bring about some kind of change. You know, it's going to help them. But go ahead.
I started to really look for God. You know, just putting more of my faith in. And God himself, and you know, as brainstorming the idea for S.P.R.E.A.D, I didn't know how I wanted to make a change. I just told myself the first step was I want to make a change. I want to see a change. I want to be the change I want to see. And that was really the first step. I just didn't know how. I was torn between how I wanted to do it.
Wow.
So it took maybe a month or 2 months for me to come up with a concrete way of, okay, this is how I want to go about it. This is how I want to make this change.
Okay.
And then, I mean, everything followed up after. So.
All right, so you made the change. You developed, in your mind, you developed S.P.R.E.A.D. What were the steps? Did you do a business plan? Did you start telling people to see what they thought?
Yeah, well,
actually, like, what's that? You know, S.P.R.E.A.D is like mayonnaise or peanut butter or something like that. What were people's reactions?
Actually, a lot of people don't know S.P.R.E.A.D wasn't actually the first name of my company.
Okay.
I had an original name. It was called Black Peace, and it was sort of because I got robbed in Newark, which was it's a black community.
Right, it's a
I wanted it to be a black empowerment type of movement, but I really thought, okay, why not make this message more universal? Why not try to relate to just the masses, you know, a wide audience? So I changed the name. I ditched Black Peace. I changed my name to S.P.R.E.A.D, but then I threw an acronym up under S.P.R.E.A.D to be more, you know, unique and really give it that personal type of feeling. And it started off with me just asking people, you know, maybe at the local barbershop, hey, you know, I'm coming up with something. What do you think of this? Asking my friends, my family.
Right, yeah, your support group.
And at first I got a lot of, what is that? You know, a lot of eyebrows raised, and people didn't really, they didn't see the vision.
Right.
So it took some time before I had to just, of course, stay consistent with it.
Right.
And believe in myself and believe in my vision for other people to sort of, you know, take part in and sort of embrace people with the vision.
Right, and that's real important, you know, because everyone may not believe in your vision. Yeah. And first of all, the understanding of vision is that you have to make it plain, you know, and then you have to allow people to read it. And the scripture says they'll read it and run with it. There's some people hear your vision and say, oh man, you can't do that. I'm sure someone said that about the telephone, or someone said that about the airplane, about Instagram. Someone said, that's a crazy idea.
Yeah.
But if you get it and you connect it with your heart, you know, your head and your heart start connecting, you can really do something. And there's somebody out there that needs to hear that, so what, they don't get on bandwagon with you and start encouraging you. You just kept on going, right?
I kept going.
You kept on going. You believed in you and God, and you felt that you got it. Okay, all right.
I kept on going because one thing that I'm a very realistic person, but one thing that I've always, you know, took into accountability that, you know, anything you see, You know, if it's a pen, you know, this newspaper, you know, this chair,
Right.
it was an idea
Right.
in someone's mind before it was actually created. So, you know, imagine if they didn't stay true to that, if they
Right.
didn't stay true to that ideal, that the vision that they had. I mean, just little things, but that just crosses my mind. And,
Wow.
you know,
Wow. So you go to Bergen. What are you majoring in Bergen?
I'm a business management major.
Okay. All right.
So I'm looking to, you know, take my associate and just continue to grow my company. And
Okay. So how are you using what you know and what you have, your company? How are you using it on campus?
oh, well, Bergen has been excellent. You know, me networking and you know, utilizing the people that's from Bergen. They really embraced my company. You know, my vision. I'm totally involved in like a bunch of different clubs.
Okay. So what clubs are you involved in?
I'm actually a part of a couple clubs. I'm a part of the Student Activities Board, which is the S.P.R.E.A.D.
Okay.
I'm a part of the BSU, which is the Black Student Union.
Okay.
And those are actually the only two clubs, but I do certain things with, you know, the SGA. I do things with the School Torch, which is the newspaper.
Right. And what? By the way, plug for the newspaper. I see here that they wrote a huge article about you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's really powerful.
The center page of the
Okay.
November edition. So
Okay.
it was extremely humbling. So
did you? Where do you see S.P.R.E.A.D in about another 2 years? What is S.P.R.E.A.D going to look like?
well, within the next 2 years, I would hope and I would pray that it's definitely my message, my vision has spread it across, you know, the East Coast. I do believe slow and steady does win the race.
Okay.
So I'm hoping and I'm praying that, you know, my message, my vision has spread it across the East Coast, you know, throughout the states of, you know, the United States. And I want to go international.
You want to go international? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I do. Europe.
So right. So how would that work? What kind of resources do you need? What?
I mean, like I said, it's really like a slow and steady type of process.
Okay.
And as I'm going forward more and more, I'm learning as well. And I'm learning, you know, the ins and outs of business, the ins and outs of fashion, designing.
So you have to do all of that, right? Because this is one of your products, right?
Yeah, yes.
And you have shirts
Yeah.
and what else? You have
hoodies,
t-shirts, and wristbands and accessories. Okay, all right. So your process is you're going to use clothing to do the spread of the message.
Yeah, clothing as a way of spreading my message.
Okay.
I mean, because you can only go so far with word of mouth, but if, you know, people see the message, I feel like they'll be able to embrace the message.
Right, and wear the message.
And wear the message.
Right, wear the message,
yeah,
right?
Wear the message.
Be the message,
be the
right?
message.
Be the change that you want to see,
yes.
Okay? All right, so tell me a little bit more about, you know, yourself. What are some of your plans? So you're going to graduate, what, in May 2015?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And are you going to go to a 4-year college? What else?
I plan on taking a break from school.
A break from school? Take that from the TV. That we can cut that right there. A break from school.
Well,
you're talking to Ray Brown now. Come on, you. Come on.
Well,
come on.
I mean, just a little bit of a break to focus a little more on, you know, my company and growing it a little more, and then possibly coming back to get my bachelor's.
Okay. All right.
But I plan on continuing my education in New Jersey, possibly at Keene. I was always looking at Keene.
Oh, Keene University,
yes.
down in the Union County, right?
Something like that, or possibly maybe like Howard.
Oh, Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, like
that's a great school.
Historically black college.
Historical black college,
yeah.
Right? Okay. All right. So, you know, how do you feel about this generation? Are they just going to get the message? Do you think they're going to override the message? Are they getting it? Do you think this is your generation we're talking about? I got my generation. We have our ups and downs. But what you know, is your generation? Are they ready for the message, or is it something that we have to keep pounding the pavement on? Or what?
Well, the thing with our generation is we're so.
You're speaking for the generation.
Okay.
Be careful. We're so. Go ahead.
I feel like we're ruled by our technology.
You're ruled by technology.
Our technology, you know, Facebook,
Instagram,
Twitter.
Uvu,
and
FaceTime,
FaceTime, and you know, everything that's, you know, put on a pedestal throughout the social networks. I mean, just anything negative, anything positive. I feel like that's the way people will, you know, my generation will, you know, start to embrace it. But I mean, I don't feel like it's something that should be constantly pounded in you know, my generation's head. But you know, with, you know, all these negative things that's being put on such a high pedestal within our generation, I feel like something positive and maybe someone that they can relate to, like myself. I feel like with that put on such a high pedestal, you know, compared to something negative, it should outweigh the negative, because we do have common sense.
You have common sense. I believe you do. I have 3 sons, and I really believe that they have a great message and they have a great way. So look, let's tell the audience. So you got to live more with Ray via Andrew. Right?
Yes.
You met my son and
Andrew
my
Brown.
son. Yeah, Andrew Brown. Yeah, look, shout out to Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown, right? And you know, Andrew says to me, "Mom, you gotta talk to him." And I was like, "Oh, Andrew, come on." And he was like, "No, Mom, really, he's doing something." And we had this encounter.
Yeah, we did.
You know, and I know that my assignment is to help people live more. So can you just let the audience know how that felt? I mean, you're talking to someone's mother, you know.
Well, our encounterment, it was, you made me feel extremely comfortable. You honestly, you opened my eyes. I mean, you opened my eyes to, you know, essentially a new way of being. And as you were telling me, you know, I'm a life coach, I'm, you know, a spiritual leader, and just everything of that nature, I was listening. But then when you actually, when you actually sort of, it was kind of like you reinforced, you know, everything that you knew upon me. And I felt extremely blessed just leaving your house, and grateful of the knowledge that you put down to me. And it was like sort of something you can't explain, you know, how I felt just speaking with you on just a very personal level. I mean, I applaud Andrew. I really gave you as much praise as possible to him for you.
Right.
And I really thought, you know, I was excited to meet you from the jump. But then after, you know, speaking with you, I was even more excited to be on the show and you know, continue our conversation and everything of that nature. So
well, thank you. I appreciate it, because you know, the purpose for the show is to help people in general understand that living more and fearing less is very empowering. We have to affirm life. You know, I think I shared with you some of my fears that I had, and really didn't have examples in my life or mentors in my life, in my earlier life, to help me. You know, so I got to 25 and I got stuck. You know, and I was like, hey, you know, what do you do from here? You know, I want to live the dream, and I'm dreaming, but how do you put some muscle to the dream? How do you work it out? And a lot of people, they don't get the connection. It's something's missing. They have knowledge, but knowledge is not inevitable of transformation.
Wow.
You can read 1,000,000 books, but if you don't have the ability to work through it and work on it and work at it, you don't have transformation ability. And you know, you can get a life principle, but if you don't begin to work it, you won't transform or change.
And that was actually ironic, because, you know, the spread message is being the change you want to see.
Right.
And of course, it starts with you.
Right.
So
and that's what I love. That's what I love. If you want change, please stop looking outside of yourself and be that change. And then when people start noticing your change, then they start changing around you. You know, and a lot of young people don't believe that. They just feel it has to be a certain way. But change is powerful. Change is powerful. And our audience, I want the audience to know that change is powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's also scary.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's something new.
Absolutely.
It's also scary because it's something new. And that was actually an adjustment of mine, you know, changing myself, changing the way people view me, because it's something new. So, and you never know the outcome.
Right. Well, scary was the gun.
Oh yes.
Pointed at you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And scary is the gun that you don't see pointed at you.
Yes.
You know, we have a dash between the years we live and the years we die.
Yeah.
You know, that dash can be full of nothing, or that dash could be fulfilled with so many things. And the most empowering thing is that we can leave legacy. And that's important. So S.P.R.E.A.D is the legacy. I believe S.P.R.E.A.D is already international. If you're on social media, S.P.R.E.A.D is already international. It just has to begin to manifest. You know, maybe your message could be put in other languages. You know, is that something that you were thinking about?
Yeah, that's actually a part of my international collection. Me and my team, which was inspired by Brandon Lee.
Okay.
Actually a creative designer, a partner of mine that's on the S.P.R.E.A.D team. We have an international S.P.R.E.A.D collection where, I mean, it's World Cup season.
Okay.
So right now we're trying to make different themes for different countries. Brazil, an Arabic theme, what did we do? We did a Japanese theme.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just try to sort of make international clothing, and we got spread in a bunch of different languages.
Right.
We're incorporating a bunch of country colors,
Right,
and
right.
you know, we're trying to do this international collection, and it's looking really good.
Wow, that's really great. That's really, really great. So can you just let our audience know how they can stay in contact with you?
Yeah, well, I have an Instagram. My S.P.R.E.A.D Instagram, the business account is _ S.P.R.E.A.D, S.P.R.E.A.D
Okay.
_. And there's also a website, official S.P.R.E.A.D, www.officialspread.co. CO.
Okay, so they can stay in contact with you with _ S.P.R.E.A.D _
Yes.
And that's Instagram, right?
Well, yeah, that's my company's Instagram.
Oh, that's the company's Instagram. And the email or the website is what again?
www.officialspread.co. CO.
CO.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, is there something that you would like for our listeners to, or our viewers to know, like some key points before we get ready to wrap it up today? Is there something that you would like them to like focus on? Is there a message? Is there something that you can just leave or drop it on them, as they put it? Is there something that you feel like you can say to some young woman or some young man that's 20 years old, that's, you know, confused? They don't need a gun in their face. They need some type of hope. Is there some kind of hope message that you can give them?
Okay, well, I would like to say that, you know, whoever you are, whatever type of, you know, condition that you live in, wherever you come from, you know, just really have faith, wherever you would like to find it. If it's within, I mean, religion, any type of religion you practice, reading, or anything that, you know, however you can express yourself. It starts with just faith, living on purpose, living with a purpose, live more and fearing less. I believe, you know, fear is something that prevents us from a lot of things, our dreams.
Right.
You know, just something that we want, maybe. I mean, just fear is something that just really prevents us, puts a glass ceiling over us, over a bunch of different things. And you can define fear as, you know, I mean, anything you like to, you define it as. But living on purpose, living with a purpose, and I'll just really bring it back to just living more and fearing less. I feel like if you abide by that concept, you'll essentially go wherever you put your mind to. And I don't even believe the sky's the limit. You can go.
You can go past the sky.
Past the sky.
Okay,
So,
galaxy.
yeah,
all
the
the way up
galaxies,
there.
you know,
Right.
universes.
So yeah, that's powerful. And you know, a lot of times people don't want to give their process. We give all of our glory stories, is what I call them, but we don't talk about process. We don't, you know, no one wants to hear, I fell 10 times, or I failed 10 times, or I didn't pass the test, or we all want to hear great, wonderful, but you know, sometimes you just have to go through the process. Sometimes you just have to, you know, bruise your knee and love God in the midst of it, because and everything's not the devil. You know, it's something that we need to learn to understand, that process is important because we can't get a cake without process.
Yeah,
And can you imagine the disgruntled egg that has to go in the flour?
Yeah.
You understand? To make that cake, or the milk saying, I'm liquid, I don't want to be with flour. Or,
Yeah.
you know, so we have to talk about process, and process is so empowering and so important that we've almost, and my generation did it, and the generation before mine did it, and I apologize to your generation, but we tell you to be great, but then we don't give you any tools.
Any tools.
And then when you get in the process, we say, can you just get yourself together? Can you just get yourself together?
Wow.
And we're doing this rat race of getting ourselves together, and everybody's running around in a circle, being so busy doing nothing and not really living purposeful. And they're driven by their fears, the fear of success or the fear of failure. You know, they're both as intense as one is to the other. And it just is so important. It is so important, and I'm glad you're here today. It's so important to hear people's story and let people know your stories. And every time you get a mic, you know, just let them know your story.
I mean, just the aspect, like I said, living more, fearing less.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, I really want to agree with that as far as for the process.
Right, and then, you know, statistically, I mean, you talk about the gun, but I'm talking about the fact that what is it? Every 26 seconds or every 26 minutes, someone's dropping out of school. You know, people are just deciding to check out. They don't want to go any further. That's enough.
Yeah.
You know, and then and it's just so empowering to see young people doing, you know, great things. Everyone doesn't wear their pants below their butt. You know, everyone's not saying all kinds of vulgarity, you know, on the corner. Or, the mindset is so different. So I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
And I'm sure our audience appreciates you. And I'm just excited that you are with us again. And I want you to stay in tune with us. We're on every Sunday at 7 p.m. We look forward to hearing from you. Listen, I have an Instagram, and I haven't heard from you. Please, you know, stay in contact. It would be wonderful. That's hashtag Live More with Ray. And my email is livemorewithray.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And listen, if you know anyone with a story, or even if you have a story, or your daughter or your son or your grandchild has a story, and they want it told, let them get in contact with me so I'm able to touch bases with them, and then we could sit and talk, and they could be here. Look, Raouf, I really appreciate you. You're a great young man.
Thank you.
I know your mom's proud. I know your godfather's proud. I know your team is proud, and we look forward to hearing greater things from you. Keep us connected. Keep us.
Of course.
Let me know what's going on. Don't get big and forget. You know. But we want you to live more. We want you to stay with us. We want you to live more and fear less. God bless you, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.